Here we go. Okay. So I admit I've gone a little crazy over this. But I am crazy right. The Oklahoma City Thunder are the most underhyped, underappreciated, undernoticed team, not just in NBA history, in sports history. Total. The only way the Thunder are going to get anywhere close to the respect they deserve, the respect they've earned, is if they sweep the Indiana Pacers in the NBA Finals with 4 dominating, convincing wins. And believe me, the Thunder are highly capable of sweeping. That would be the NBA's worst nightmare. The nobodies from nowhere. The 47th ranked TV market sweeping the 25th ranked TV market. Small market versus small market. Nightmarish. For me, as a Thunder fan, nightmarish. In fact, you know what I believe? I believe that the Thunder's private goal is to sweep, just to make fools of all the skeptics and all the doubters and all the naysayers and the haters out there, all the millions of NBA fans sleeping like Rip Van Winkle on what the Thunders have done and what they are doing to the National Basketball Association. So after I slept on it, I'm going completely over the edge. I'm going to have the courage of my convictions. I'm changing my pick from Thunder in 5 to Thunder in 4. After all, the odds makers say the most likely outcome of these finals is Thunder in 5. But the second most likely outcome in these finals is Thunder in 4. Thunder sweeping is the second most likely outcome, says Las Vegas. I mean, the Thunder are favored by 9.5 points in game 1. 9.5. So if you really believe they're frauds, if you really and truly think they will get exposed by the crazy hot Indiana Pacers, please go to FanDuel.com/skip. You can use my first name, FanDuel.com/skip right now and put your money where your mouth is. Go to FanDuel, America's #1 sports book, and throw down on the Eastern Conference champions who ran through the Bucks and ran through the Cavs and ran through the Knicks and ran Thibodeau out the door. Right now, you can have the Indiana Pacers plus 9.5 points in game 1. Plus 9. You're already ahead by 9.5 before we even tip. I say the Thunder cover tomorrow night. I'll get deeper into that in just a moment. It's FanDuel.com/skip. Take a shot right now. I say that was an omen yesterday when the Pacers charter flight to Oklahoma City had to be diverted to Tulsa because of a tornado sighting in the Oklahoma City area. So even with clear skies for game 1, a tornado awaits the Pacers inside Paycom Center. Actually, 10 tornadoes, only 5 can play at a time, but they're going to get hit 5 at a time with tornadoes right between the eyes you have closed. Tell me I'm wrong. Go tornado on me. I asked you to let it fly at me over everything I've said about the Oklahoma City Thunder. And did you ever let it fly at me? It is time for Skip one-on-one, like one on you, one on you, one on you, and one on you. It is time for Skip versus the world, and I'm about to read and respond to a whole bunch of your comments left for me on all my social platforms. So first up, I'll let some of the Pacer fans have the floor and talk that silly squawk that they talk. Let's start with Willis Wood, who says, "Yeah, Skippy, we've heard it all before. We're getting crushed by Cleveland. No way we're beating the Knicks. And both these outstanding teams had home court advantage. And now we're getting swept by Oklahoma City. But you know what, Skippy? That's why they play the game. Go Pacers. Willis, I'm sorry to inform you, you are about to run headlong into a buzzsaw that went 29-1 against the Eastern Conference, the all-time greatest record ever for one team against the opposing conference. The Thunder lost one game at Cleveland, I think it was January the 8th, that was without Chet Holmgren, their extraordinary rim protector, and without Alex Caruso, their most disruptive defender. And by the way, they flipped the script 8 nights later back in Oklahoma City, still without Chet, without Caruso, and they won by 20. And by the way, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander tied his career high with 45 points in the win at Indiana. And then the Thunder beat the Pacers by 21 in Oklahoma City. They played those games. Go Thunder! And Willis, can you imagine how wild the sports world would be going right now over these Thunder if it were the New York Thunder or the LA Thunder? Can you imagine? But no, it's just the Oklahoma City, nobody's from nowhere Thunder. This is at Bod Mountain. No team has beaten a healthy Pacers in the playoffs dating back to last year, not even Boston. Oklahoma City can't say that. Pacers have vets and a coach that beat arguably the best 3 ever. OKC is in trouble. Pacers in 5 or 6 games. Wait, Bod, did you just go Dallas over Miami in 2011? Yeah, I give you this. Rick Carlisle did coach those Mavericks. And I have much respect for Rick. I worked with him back in the day at ESPN. Love him. But coaching didn't beat the Heat back in 2011. Dirk didn't beat the Heat in 2011 in those finals. LeBron beat the Heatles. LeBron destroyed his own team. Games 4, 5, and 6. The chosen one turned into the frozen one. Biggest epic fail by a superstar in finals history. Look it up. But yeah, I give you this. Rick did have a ringside seat for that. This is from Cleon Scroggs. Everyone doubted Tyrese, and y'all aren't giving the man the credit he deserves. Pacers haven't been taken seriously at all, even after making the Eastern Conference Finals last year. Can't wait to watch you eat your words, Skippo. Cleon, I'm about to emboss my words. That's what's going to happen to my words. And you know why I've doubted Tyrese Haliburton? Because he has created so much doubt with his consistently inconsistent performances, his no-way, no-shows, his stunning duds. I broke this down on Monday's show, so I won't beat you over the head with the numbers again, but in high-minute regular season games, Tyrese Haliburton scored 0 at the Knicks, 6 at Charlotte, 4 at Houston, 8 at Memphis, 4 at Oklahoma City, 2 at Cleveland, 0 at Portland, 9 at Denver, and of course he went 1 for 9 from 3 at Lakers in a 2-point loss. Then we come to this year's playoffs. In 3 games, in which he averaged 32 minutes playing per game, he scored 10 points on 3 of 13 shooting in Game 1 at Milwaukee. He scored 4 in Game 3 at Cleveland. And, of course, he scored only 8 in Game 5 at Madison Square Garden at the Mecca. Cleon, in 4 games against the Thunder the last 2 seasons, Tyrese Haliburton has averaged 12 points per game. 12 a game. That's because Lou Dort's numbers against him are shut down sensational, off the charts sensational. And then, of course, Tyrese is going to have to deal with Caruso. 6'5" tall. Jalen Williams, 6'5". Casey Wallace is only 6'3", but he is a demonic defender. He's going to have to now deal with OKC's four-headed defensive monster. Cleon. Remember, little Jalen Brunson, what is he, 5'11"? Little Brunson, who cares far more about offense than he does defense, will no longer be guarding Tyrese Haliburton in this series. By the way, quick aside, when I was a kid growing up in Oklahoma City, the name Haliburton inspired awe for me. Haliburton's was the biggest department store in town, 8 floors with 4 elevators down on Main Street. But now the name Haliburton does not inspire awe for me. I respect his game, 2-time All-Star, led the league in assists 2 years ago, 3rd in assists this year. Respect. But I do not fear Tyrese Haliburton. This is Spencer Puett. Haliburton greater than SGA in the clutch. Full stop. All caps, full stop. Spencer, I give you this. Haliburton has hit some big playoff shots for your sirs, as you call them. Pacers. But man, that one he hit at MSG to send game 1 against the Knicks into overtime was 97% luck, maybe higher. Of course, his toe was on the line as he celebrated with the choke signal given to all the Knicks fans. So it was a 2 instead of a 3. It's going to be overtime. But he shoots that funky 2-piece set shot of his. He shoots it so high. The arc is so high, it's Lou Dort high, that it boinged off the back iron so hard that it shot up, 20 feet above the basket? What were the odds it would come straight down through the rim? Straight down through without ticking any piece of iron. Maybe 3%? What if it misses? Are we talking Thunder Knicks now? We might be. Look, I can't give you a litany of SGA walk-off shots because this team hasn't had many walk-off opportunities. Again, it set the all-time record for point differential, shattering the 53-year-old record of the 1971-72 Lakers. Do you remember this team? It was Wilt Chamberlain and Jerry West, those Lakers, champion Lakers. They won 33 straight games at one stretch during that regular season. This regular season, the Thunder won their games by an average of 12.9 points per game. Those Lakers won by an average of 12.3 points per game. So these Thunder shattered the 53-year-old record. What if this team were in New York or L.A.? Man, the L.A. Thunder, can you imagine? Talk about showtime. But what MVP SGA does way, 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 way better than Haliburton is he closes. During the regular season, in points scored under 2 minutes left in the fourth quarter or overtime, SGA ranked 6th in the NBA. Pretty good. Haliburton ranked 27th. Come on, man. Whew. This is Naeem Mathis. I'm not a fan of the Pacers, but I like the magical run they are on. Okay. I'm going to give you that. That's a good and fair point. 4 times in these playoffs. The Pacers have come back from 17 down. Now that is just miraculous. But seriously, do you think they're coming from 17 down to beat the Thunder in a finals game? This is the deepest, most dominating defense I have seen in my 50 years of covering the NBA, starting out here in LA where I sit right now when I started covering the Lakers. And by the way, quick aside, if I've convinced you to plunk down a few bucks on game 1 or on these finals, The place to do it is FanDuel, America's #1 sports book. It is the franchise. Cowboys, Yankees, Lakers all rolled into one. The place to go. You can find all the best player props on FanDuel. Get the latest stats right inside the app. You can see who's consistently hitting the over, who's flirting with the triple doubles. And once the game starts, it can really get interesting when you combine live prop bets into a same-game parlay for a chance to win big. Hey, you could give FanDuel a shot today. You'll get started with $200 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. Just visit FanDuel.com/skip to join today. Do it now, FanDuel.com/skip. And again, I'm going Thunder to win game 1 by 20, and to win the finals in 4. It'll be over before you know it. Now, back to Skip versus the world. This is at Fantasy Boys OG. Pacers defense is underrated. You'll see it in this series. Thank me later. Okay, maybe it is. But trust me, this Thunder defense is 100 times more underrated than Indy's. This Thunder D is revolutionizing the way NBA games are won at the highest level. This Thunder defense smokes you with points off turnovers. It by far led the regular season in 2 categories, turnovers forced and points scored off turnovers. They just terrorize teams. They attack them with piranha defenders. Like all 5 defenders have 4 hands each. Hands everywhere, deflecting, dislodging, mind-blowing quickness, tenacity, athletic explosion. And once they get their hands on your basketball, look out. They will fly up court with track speed that will make the Pacers look like a bunch of white guys at the Y. It's just hard to prepare for the fury with which these Thunder hit you with. They just hit you with it every second of 48 straight minutes, every single second. Your backups can't simulate that in practice. This is at DC Dad on God. Pacers will run Thunder off the floor. God help the Pacers. This is at Don't Be Sleep 1646. Let's be real. Anytime someone is this confident about the Pacers losing, they're usually wrong. Pacers sending OKC to Cancun. Sleep, you're sleeping on the Thunder. If this were the NFL, the Pacers would be sending OKC to Canton, as in Hall of Fame. Here's a YouTuber at Gabriel Vargas 6746. Pacers in 6. All you dumbass fans and experts keep sleeping on Pacers. It's too funny. Speaking of dumbass, this is at Schmirk 9829. I'll come back to the comments once the Pacers win. Please, I beg you, keep saying OKC already has the championship merch made. Pacers in 7. Man, this is getting funnier than Indiana's own Mike Epps. This is like a comedy routine. Pacers in 7 what? Years? This is at Die Hard Outdoors. Stay humble, Skip, because Pacers about to humble your ass. Speaking of Die Hard, one of my all-time favorite movies, Thunder Pacers will be like 10 John McClanes against Hans Gruber's bumbling henchmen. 10 John McClanes. This is at Jeffrey Gent 19. Did dude literally have the audacity to say we'd have a better chance with Caitlin Clark running the point? Come on, man, that's asinine. Clark is a great player, but she can't even be a backup in the NBA. She wouldn't be able to do anything. Jeffrey, It was a joke. It's called hyperbolic sarcasm. Then again, if you guys did have Caitlin at point guard, I would actually be slightly concerned. I mean, she's got it. This is Aaron Bullock. Skip with 4 Ps. Put that Devil's Juice Diet Mountain Dew down and realize it's Pacers in 6. I think that was a Shannon reference. To the Pacers, rest in peace, or pieces. Okay. Now let's get real serious. Let's go bare knuckles and really trade some shots. This is at Rick F, as in Frank, F72812. Everyone, this man is begging for clicks. This man has claimed the Spurs, the Nets, the Clippers, OKC, and like every other team ever. This man is supposed to be a diehard Cowboy fan, but was rooting for the Eagles and wore an Eagles jersey. Rick, please don't make yourself look like a complete uninformed fool. Point number 1. I was born and raised in Oklahoma City. I came into this world at Wesley Hospital, Northwest 12th and Harvey. Grew up on 43rd Street in Oklahoma City. Went to Mayfair Grade School and Taft Junior High School and Northwest Classen High School. Never, ever, ever could have imagined my city having an NBA team. Are you kidding me? All we ever had when I was growing up, all the way through high school, professionally, was minor league hockey, the Blazers. We went, 4 or 5 times just to watch the fights. Our pro team was the Oklahoma Sooners football team. I'm diehard, lifelong diehard. It's in my blood. It was born into me. But won a full scholarship for sports writing called the Grantland Rice Scholarship, went away to Vanderbilt, went up getting hired as the lead columnist at the Dallas Morning News at age 27, and very quickly became a fan of George the Iceman Gervin. If you don't know him, look him up. Was he ever something? I became a fan of Gervin and the Spurs because Dallas did not have an NBA team when I arrived there in late 78, and there was no way Oklahoma City was ever going to have an NBA team. So a couple of times I flew down to San Antonio to actually write about the Spurs, but mostly write about the Iceman, George Gervin, because that was all I had. And that started to get into my blood. Then, of course, moved on to Chicago, columnist at the Chicago Tribune. I became the biggest Jordan fan on the planet when I got to cover those 98 Bulls, Last Dance team. But he walked into the sunset after that year. He retired prematurely because his coach got fired. And then when the Spurs broke through and won it all in 99, I became a big Tim Duncan fan. And then even bigger Duncan, Parker, Ginobili, Kawhi fan, in part because I knew they would be LeBron James' nemesis. They should have beaten LeBron in all 3 of those finals that they played each other, if not for Ray Allen saving LeBron's legacy, Game 6, 2013. I'll never get over it. But as I've said many times, I could just never quite get my arm around the 2012 Thunder, my hometown team, because my guy I'd loved since he was at the school I hate, Texas, Oklahoma's rival, my guy, Kevin Durant, I put quotes around my guy, started taking shots at me over the shots I took at Russell Westbrook for taking more shots on a nightly basis than Kevin Bleepin Durant, all of which caused lots of Thunder fans to send me death threats. If I dared to even set foot back in my hometown, which caused me to need a 24-hour bodyguard at the 2012 NBA Finals in my hometown of Oklahoma City. So no, I could not love the 2012 Thunder. Could you, if you were in my shoes? My Jordans? Point number 2. I obviously wasn't a fan of the Nets or the Clippers. I merely said I thought both teams had a chance to win a championship. That's my job. I predict. I did think the KD, Kyrie, Harden, Brooklyn Nets, nothing but Nets, I thought they had a shot. But then Kyrie had some big, bad issues. I ended up being very wrong about that. It just didn't work. And then when Kawhi Leonard pulled the magic carpet out from under LeBron and chose the Clippers over the Lakers, remember that night? Whew. I did think he and Paul George had a shot at winning it all, but they mutinied in the bubble when I really thought they had a shot, and then they just couldn't stay healthy, as you know. Point number 3. I obviously quit loving the Spurs when only Pop was left on the Spurs, and I was never a Pop fan, as I made very clear from the start. I started publicly loving this OKC team 2 years ago because it was just so all for one, one for all, lovable. So college rah-rah lovable, so March Madness in April, May, and June lovable. And I did pick this year's team to win a stacked Western Conference before the season started. Then all it did was produce the greatest statistical season ever. So is that jumping on the bandwagon of my hometown team? Huh? Point 4. I became a Dallas Cowboy fan when I was 10 years of age. My uncle lived in Dallas, took me to a game at the old Cotton Bowl, and I was hooked. I went there to see a team that I liked, the St. Louis Cardinal football team, but I fell in love with those jerseys, those stars on the helmets, stars on the shoulders of the shoulder pad jerseys. But I have made it publicly painfully clear. I'm just done with Jerry Jones and Dak Prescott. No longer trust either to produce a deep playoff run. Last year I predicted 8-9 for my Cowboys. They finished 7-10. Last year, before the season, I predicted the Eagles would win the Super Bowl. And I made it clear it had come to this for me as lifelong diehard Cowboy fan. My owner had forced me to root for the NFL team I hate the most, the Philadelphia Eagles, the bleeping Eagles. Then I rubbed Jerry's upturned nose in it by buying and wearing a Jalen Hurts jersey after the Super Bowl. And by the way, the day Jalen Hurts was drafted, second round, I predicted on Twitter he would change life in Philadelphia. And did he ever? So now we're stuck with Dak. The Eagles have Jalen and the Commanders have Jaden. Yikes. Hey, everybody. This guy, Rick F. as in Frank, is begging for clicks by taking recklessly wrong shots at me. I don't know. Maybe the F does stand for fool. At Mona Lewis, 1227.7. Hilarious how you will tweet anything for any kind of response. Yep, any correct thing. At This Wizard Rocks. You'll have to explain to me who has doubted OKC, bruh. They've been the prohibitive faves all season long, and every gambling person I know was picking them out of the West from the jump. Wizard, I want to know for real how many gambling persons you know who actually put money down on the Thunder before the season started. All I heard all season long about the Thunder was doubt. especially from people who should have known better. At midseason, Draymond Green said on his podcast, nobody fears the Oklahoma City Thunder. On this show, just before the playoffs started, the great Paul Pierce said, nobody is scared of the Oklahoma City Thunder. You heard it all. They're the youngest team in the playoffs. They don't have enough playoff scar tissue. They don't have a second scorer when playoff teams take SGA out of the game, blah, 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 blah. The Oklahoma City Thunder are the biggest finals favorites in 20 years. Where are you hiding, Draymond? Haven't heard from you. Trying to find you. I'm just getting warmed up. This is from Facebook, from Gregory Pendergraft. Put the pipe down. Thunder ain't that scary. Gregory. Ask Cantman and his T-Wolves just how scary OKC is. Anthony Edwards described the Oklahoma City defense as, and I quote, 10 puppets on the same string, unquote. The T-Wolves wiped out LeBron and Luka and the Lakers in 5 games. The Thunder wiped out the T-Wolves in 5 games. Timber! But nobody's afraid of the Oklahoma City Thunder. This is at Darren Bass 4. As in sweep. Thunder are nowhere near the Bulls team regarding intellect, talent, or anything else for that matter. Thunder are this year's best team only because they were the healthiest team all year. So, if memory serves, Chet Holmgren, who's turning into just a skinny monster on both ends of the floor, played only 32 games this year. He's getting better by the playoff dribble. And I think I'm right about this. Alex Caruso did miss 28 games this season, just for the record. Now to an opinion I first unleashed in one of my post-game videos, and you will be able to find my instant react videos on YouTube and X soon after all 4 finals games. I said this OKC team has an even more devastating defense than the 98 Bulls had. And again, I covered that team as the lead columnist at the Chicago Tribune. I was there every day. What was happening in 98 was Jordan, Pippen, Harper were stationed across the half-court line. They just made it extremely difficult for opponents to merely get the ball past half-court and get their offense set up at any reasonable juncture, sort of closer to the lane. You just couldn't get your offense set. They just pushed you up against the half-court line. Never seen anything quite like that. Then they had Rodman at maybe 6'7", helping sort of to man and anchor the backline defense, but Kukoc played much smaller than 6'10" and didn't really care about playing defense. Luke Longley and Bill Winnington weren't really shot blockers or rim protectors like Chet and Hartenstein are. And come on now, the Bulls didn't have nearly the depth of demonic defenders. This Thunder team just keeps throwing and throwing and throwing at you in waves. OKC's offense is its defense, which just keeps hitting you with thunderbolts. I'm telling you, this is revolutionary. And I'd slightly take this defense over the 98 Bulls defense. I stand on that opinion. This is Dominique Davey. Quit comparing this young OKC team to the Bulls. Very weak comparison. Seems like you're doing it more for clicks. Here we go again. People always have to find a way to explain me away. Now it's for clicks. When I picked the Eagles before last season, it was for clicks. No, it was because I believed with all my heart and soul. I feared with all my heart and soul that the Eagles were poised to win it all. And they did. I was there in 98 in Chicago. I know. And by the way, one quick other point for you. I played golf yesterday with two friends of mine, both pretty big NBA fans. One's a psychiatrist here in LA. The other is the son of a doctor friend of mine. The son attends NYU and was nuts about the Knicks. So I asked both of these guys if they watched one single Thunder game all season. Nope and nope. Then I asked both of them if they plan to watch any of this finals. Probably not, and probably not. See? This is J-J, J-A-Y, J-A-Y. How much money MJ paying you now to hate on Bron? L-M-A-O. Hold on a second. Why would MJ, who won 10 scoring titles and a Defensive Player of the Year, need to pay me a penny to tell the truth about LeBron James, who has one scoring title and no Defensive Player of the Year? Please explain. This is Don Smith. Baseless. I'm Skip Baseless. I've heard that many times in my career. Baseless. Is this for clicks? Dubs with KD's 2 rings would have swept this Thunder team. Why are you being a prisoner of the moment? Do me a favor. Ask Joker how the OKCD wore on his body, wore on his psyche. Now, he did have 2 big games because he is really, really good. A lot of people thought he should have been the MVP again. He did have a 44 and a 42 against OKC. But he also had games of 17 and 20 twice and wound up minus 40 overall and plus minus for that series. I'm here to tell you, 2017 and 2018 KD would have had a hard time against this OKCD. Remember that first finals with Golden State? KD averaged 35 for the 5 games. Then remember what happened when he went to Brooklyn, and in 2022, he ran into a real defense. Ime Udoka's real defense in Boston, those Celtics, a defense that got physical with him, roughed him up, intimidated him. Remember that? Go look at those numbers. 9 of 24, 4 of 17, 6 of only 11 shots, 13 of 31. Those very young Celtics swept KD's Nets, because Ime said, this is how you attack Kevin Durant. This Thunder defense would put up dubs against those dubs. Those dubs would be overmatched inside on both ends against this Thunder team. The Splash Brothers would have found it harder and harder to splash against these Thunder. It'd be a great battle to watch, but I'm telling you, this OKC is a different beast. The best team nobody watched outside of Oklahoma City, the 47th largest TV market. This is from Charles Hunter. Skip with 5 Ps. OKC isn't even in the same convo as the 73-9 Warriors. I will bet you Charles Hunter hasn't watched a single dribble of a Thunder game all season long, including the playoffs. I will bet you that. This is from Phil Love All. Don't want OKC to win. This will probably be one of the lowest rated finals in recent history. There is always hope. Pacers get lucky and the refs blow the whistle on the offensive push-offs from the free throw merchant. Hopefully, Lurch gets his bird legs twisted up like a pretzel by Siakam, by Turner, by Toppin. If Pacers can somehow keep it close, OKC players fold under pressure and can't shoot the three ball. At least Pacers have the definitive coaching advantage. Okay, to your point number one. My point number one. Yes, Mark Daigneault just turned 40 on Tuesday, which makes him 25 years younger than Rick Carlisle. But this young man is wise beyond his years. This young man is a shrewd operator and a cool customer, and most important, these OKC players love playing for Daigneault as much as they love annihilating together, all for one for all. Daigneault is definitely not at a coaching disadvantage here. If you want to give Rick a slight edge just on finals experience, be my guest. But trust me, Mark Daigneault is not overmatched. Point two, free throw merchant Shai Gilgeous-Alexander has averaged 9.2 free throws a game through these playoffs. Giannis in round one averaged 12.6 free throws a game against these Pacers. And Donovan Mitchell, through his playoff run, averaged 9.6 above what SGA is averaging. Hey, the truth is SGA MVP gets what he earns and gets what he deserves at the free throw line. Point three, if I'm understanding, if you're comparing Chet Holmgren to Lurch of the Adams family, it just doesn't work. I mean, Lurch is a monstrously strong 6'9" tall with a scary deep voice. Chet has monstrous impact on basketball games, but he's still pretty skeletal with a voice depth closer to Pugsley's. What? This is at J Whitson 9. You act as though Indy has zero chance when Denver, who only plays 7-man rotations and fired their coach late in the year, took OKC 7 games and could have beaten them had they not blown fourth quarter leads in games 4 and 5. Denver almost beat the Thunder, and the Pacers, who are 12-4 in the playoffs, can't? You're crazy. Jay Witt. I said Thunder Nuggets would be the NBA Finals. The Nuggets have a bunch of veteran Warrior dogs who've been there and done all that. And they had new coach energy and momentum. And young Julian Strother, man, he kept coming off the bench, especially in Game 6, and just stung us. In that Game 4 you mentioned, we won the fourth quarter in Denver 29-18. Held them to 18 in the fourth in their building. Whew. And in that Game 5, we won the fourth quarter 34-19 as Lou Dort, high-arcing Lou Dort, detonated the home crowd with 3 threes early in the fourth quarter. In both those games, SGA and J-Dub just took over down the stretch, were clearly the two best players on the floor. That included Joker and Jamal. And we won Game 7 at home 125-93 over those Nuggets. We finally just broke their will and destroyed their psyche. We easily won Game 7, and we clinched this year's NBA championship. This is at Matt Wilhoit. Pacers in 6. Keep running that mouth, Skip. You are a bandwagon clown. No, Matt, you keep running your mouth. The Thunder are listening. Thank you. This is at Bruja2864. Here's the thing, Skip. You love sticking your chest out when you're right, but when Skip's teams lose, it's a missed flag, a flopping charge, no clutch gene, or some other excuse. It's sad to see you constantly flip-flop. What? So back in my first take days, they called me Never Flip Skip. Eric Mangini always said to me, you love hard, man. I have stuck right there with my hometown Oklahoma City Thunder for 2 years. I have loved them hard, and I will continue to love them hard. This is the dawn of a dynasty. Sam Presti has 13 first-round picks stockpiled over the next 7 drafts. Good luck, NBA. This is at Tim_Leal, Leal 14. Don't come back to the Spurs when they start dominating again. Tim, from my heart, I'll always have a soft spot in my heart for those Duncan, Parker, Ginobili Spurs. But those three ain't walking through that door. Now Wemby and company are stuck in the same conference with the dynastic Thunder. You're safe, Tim. I won't come back. And by the way, I still haven't seen the impact on the scoreboard from Wemby that I thought I would. And when Chet is matched up with Wemby, Chet's often got the better of him. And we will end with at No Limit RW21. Bandwagon for relevance is nasty work. Yep, I'm driving a bandwagon. Nobody's watching. But speaking of no limits, my hometown team has none. Thunder in 4. That's it for this episode. Thanks to Tyler Korn for producing, to Ernestine for overseeing, and to Hazel for approving.